Oh, Ahmed, that is a nice expression, right? Write this down, because this is one of those expressions you go, ooh, band 7. Well, not just for the expression, but happiness is a part and parcel of life. Happiness is a part and parcel of life. It just means it's a part of life, but part and parcel of something, it's just a really nice expression. Where did you learn that, Ahmed? That's really nice. I like it. Happiness is a part and parcel of life. Hello there. Good morning, and how are you today? Beautiful day, sun shining. Of course, being British, it's always the first thing I talk about in the morning is the weather. Sun is shining. It's quite warm outside. It's actually cooler inside than it is outside. How are you today, wherever you are? I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping safe in these very difficult times. Here in Spain, we've been in lockdown for a week, and the government has just announced 2 more weeks lockdown. The UK has just announced a lockdown last night. Boris Johnson went on national television and told everybody to seriously stay at home. Hopefully people will pay attention. But it's great to be here on Facebook and to be seeing all of you here again. Hello, Jerry. Nice to see you this morning. And Katarzyna, if I can pronounce that right. Nice to see you. Good morning. Great. First time in time. And the first comment as well, Jerry, of the day. Good sunny morning from Australia. Gabby, nice to hear Australia's sunny today. Hi, Teresa and Ahmed. Good morning. Philene, good to see you here. I'm guessing it's the afternoon for you, but it's still morning for us. I wonder if you've had lunch yet. So today we're going to look at the very happy topic of happiness, and the lovely topic of happiness. It's an interesting one. Quite a few people have asked me how to talk about happiness. And I think it's one of these questions that's difficult, because not really because of the language, but because of the ideas. And it's one of those questions that sometimes can make you a bit uncomfortable. You know, in the Ielts exam, there are some questions that are very, very personal, right? And I, as an examiner, feel a bit strange sometimes asking people, for example, do you have a lot of friends? I mean, what a strange question, right? It's such a personal, emotional question. I'm surprised the candidates don't say, it's none of your business, mate. Right? I mean, if I've got a lot of friends or not, what does happiness mean to you? Well, I'm sorry, but that's a very, very personal thing. And so I think some questions can make us a bit uncomfortable, and we're not sure how to answer. I mean, even in your own language, some of these questions, what is happiness for you? You really have to think about it. And your answer may change depending whether you're speaking to a loved one, a family member, a mate down the pub, or somebody you've just met on the bus. You'd give a different answer, a different level of intimacy, probably. So we're going to try and tackle this problem today, intimacy. Say hello, Zakia. Good morning. Dansley, nice to see you here. And Terence from Hong Kong. Great. Good to see you here, Terence. Nice to have some Hong Kong people here. And Nadia and Ruth, good morning. Doing well. I'm getting good at being at home and waking up late. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. Get good at waking up late. Got to wake up early. Come on, guys. You've got to keep the routine. We've been told, in fact, by everybody, our teachers, our government, to keep the routine. That the way to tackle the lockdown is to try and keep some kind of routine every day for your children, for yourself, for your family, because we do like routine. And if we don't, all structure is going to disappear, and we're not going to be happy. Happiness is routine. And then happiness is breaking the routine, right? So Hong is here. Hi. Oh, the Vietnamese crew are here. Nice to see you. And hello, Le. Sana, lovely to see you. A long time no see. Not such a long time, but it's great to see you here. And Ruby is from Taiwan. You're going to the hospital for the night shift. Ruby, round of applause. Well done. It's people like you are really, really, well, facing such a difficult time and helping everybody else. Thank you. And Yen as well. Nice to see you. Jai, how is the weather like there today? Sunny, Jai, very sunny. And I'm in Spain, remember. So I'm not in the UK. I'm actually living in Spain. I've been here a couple of years. Hi, Bui and Elena. Nice to see you here. And Janie, good morning from Taiwan. Ah, we've got more from Taiwan. Great. Bodaya, Rose, Michelle, Pachu, good morning. And Joanne and Aida Amira from Algeria. Brilliant. We've got Africa here as well. Raj, Pachu, good morning. So brilliant, guys. Happiness. We're going to talk. I'm going to, first of all, just give you a couple of questions that are related to happiness. There's a part 2 question, right, that will make you happy. Happiness is doing the Ielts test. That would be a good answer, wouldn't it? Surprise your examiner. Happiness is being here with you today, doing the Ielts test. And watch the smile on your examiner's face. Unless he thinks you're being sarcastic. If she thinks you're being sarcastic, she might, what do you mean? Describe a special day. Hi, Saeed. Describe a special day that you remember well. Now, often that is a happy day. There's a similar question about happiness. But the great thing about this kind of question, and, you know, describe a happy day or a day that you spent that was happy, is that you can take the ideas from lots of other questions and use them. So you could, for example, talk about a celebration. You could talk about a dinner with your family. And if you've studied IELTS questions, these will all be ringing bells. They will sound familiar, right? Describe a celebration. Describe a dinner, the time you took your family for dinner. A new skill that you learned that made you happy. And the time you went, your water sport that you tried, that made you happy. Trying something new, achieving a goal. Describe a time you were successful at something. You're achieving your goal makes you happy. You can see, right, how all of these can be connected to talk about something special or happiness. So save yourself a bit of time. Take the ideas and some of the language and use them in similar questions, right? Don't use exactly the same memorized story, because that won't work. But the ideas, the bits and pieces, absolutely. Yes. Okay. Right, where are we? Fatma's here. Hello, Fatma. Happiness differs from one person to another. And by the way, Fatma and others, thank you for all of the comments you put on the Facebook page about your ideas have happiness. Art was really, really interesting. And we're going to touch that. We're going to touch on that, talk about today. Some people consider to be wealthy is the main source of happiness, whilst others consider it depends on having good health, good son, nice job, good relationship between family members. Great. So that's one of the questions we're looking at later. Is it about money, or is it about family, or something else? Absolutely. Good point, Fatma. Great. Graduation day. Raj, I had my exam on Saturday and now my result is delayed. That's not going to make you happy, is it? That's going to put you on the edge of your seat, waiting in suspense. Oh dear. How can you define happiness? Bachu, Elena has just given a brilliant answer below. Happiness is preparing pizza and watching you. Well, happiness for me is eating your pizza and listening to you. Yes. Right. Right. Chen. And I think I've just realized that it's not Chen, is it? It's Shen. I was pronouncing it wrong. It's Shen Qian Yu. I think it's Shen from Shenyang. Is that right? Shenyang the Shen, I think. So many, yeah, the more the merrier. That's a nice expression. The more the merrier. Make a note, everybody. The more the merrier. The more pizza, the merrier. The more the merrier. The more people at a party, the more the merrier. That's nice. That's great. I'm going to talk about happiness, but before I do, let me just share with you, I recently sent an email. If you're on my email list, and I guess some of you are, you'll be familiar with these, right? I shared recently some idiomatic expressions for happiness, which might be useful for you as we're talking about it. The first one was to be on cloud 9. Now, to be on cloud 9, why not cloud 8 or cloud 7 or cloud 13? Not cloud 13, because 13 is an unlucky number. But for some reason, to be on cloud 9 means to be very happy. If any of you can find out why it's cloud 9, I'd be very, very happy. Okay. Another little expression is to be on top of the world, which is very logical, right? To be on top of the world, it doesn't mean you have to go to the top of Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest. But if you were on top of Mount Everest, of course, with the view and your closeness to nature, you'd be very happy. So, you know, I felt on top of the world when I got my Ielts result. Very, very happy. And here's another quick one. I'll give you some more later, but just for the moment, to be thrilled to bits. To be thrilled is to be excited, right? But to be thrilled is also to be happy, right? If you buy me a ticket to go to the theatre and watch a play, I'm thrilled. Thank you very much. I'd be very happy and thrilled to bits. I'm not quite sure why you're thrilled to bits, but it means to be very happy. I'm thrilled to bits. Great. Now then, let's see where we are. Zakia, what makes happy is to succeed in doing something I couldn't before, especially learning. Zakia, that is so true, and me too, right? Learning something new really makes me very, very happy. Lifelong learner, continue learning. Pachu, how many ideas we have to discuss? We can write plethora of ideas, but in your opinion, how many ideas are good from your examiner's point of view? How many ideas to discuss? Well, it depends, Pachu, in part 2 or part 3. In part 2, I would, so if that was the question, right? Oh, I see what you mean, I think. Okay, so part 2 is separate, right? I think part 2, you're describing a special day, for example, or a happy day. I would talk about 2 or 3 things in part 2. But if we're talking about part 3, so here's your classic part 3 question. And I think this is what you're talking about, Pachu. What does happiness mean? Or what is happiness for you? My approach for part 3 is this. Give 1 or 2 examples and then take one of those and go into detail. I wouldn't give 4, 5, or 6 examples, because the danger there is that you just create a list. And the danger is the examiner will cut you off at the end of the list. And so you've had no chance to go deeper into detail, right? So I would be careful. I wouldn't say happiness is lots of money, family relationships, a nice pizza, learning something new. And also, I'm very happy when I can go to the cinema. And also, happiness is when my family smile at me. Don't do that, because that's a list, right, of 6 or 7 things. And it's just superficial. You're not going deeper. So take just, I would say 2. If you want 3, it's fine. I mean, there's no rule, right? But I would take 2 and then go into detail, right? So happiness for me is about family relationships, and it's about making a contribution, helping other people. That makes me happy. For example, when I was younger, I used to go to an old people's home every Saturday morning and help out. I would go there. I was helping with the feeding and looking after the senior citizens who were retired. Some of them were sick. And it really made me, that feeling of being on cloud nine. I was so happy and content to do that. That's what I would do, because that one example, two example, and then going down in depth, all the new vocabulary, right? Senior citizen, care, what did I say? A care home for the elderly, looking after. All the vocabulary is much richer and wider. So that is a great question, Pachu, and that is my answer. To be on cloud nine. Saeed, great. I remember a day that was my birthday. My husband gave me a laptop as a present. I was on the moon. That's nice. I was on the moon is a great expression as well. I was walking on air is the other one. I was walking on air. I was on the moon. Sorry, Huda, it's not on the moon, is it? I was over the moon. I was wondering, that doesn't sound right. I was on the moon. You were on the moon with Apollo 13. I was over the moon is the expression. Great, thank you. Now, Teresa, happiness is a very subjective matter. Well, that's right, yeah. There are people who feel happy if they help others, or if they own loved one's smiles. Or if the own loved one smiles. If their own loved one smiles. Or people who want to earn a lot of money since they think they could help buying everything they want. Absolutely. Good. Seymour, how much did you write? Oh my God, you've written so much, Teresa. I'm going to let everybody else read that, but brilliant. And an interesting point, right? Happiness is a subjective matter. In part 3, right, I think you can give personal examples. So I think Teresa's approach is very good, actually, is to say, what does happiness mean? Well, for who? Right. So for some people, it means this. For other people's, it means that. For other people, it means that. You can also add, me personally, I think it means this. Okay. So you can be a bit personal in part 3. Just make sure not all of your answers are so personal. And make sure your examples are not only personal ones, right? That's part 1, is very much about you. Part 3 can be a little bit about you, but it's more general, right? Okay, good. Right, Pachu, great. Success on, oh yes, the online course, brilliant, great, lovely. I'm pleased you like it. I'm on cloud 9 that you like it. I'm thrilled to bits that you like the course. Now then, Ruth, you've been doing the research. Isn't it for the 9 levels of heaven in Dante's Divine Comedy? That would make a lot of sense, right? It could well be. Yes, the 9 levels of heaven, heaven and hell. Maybe it is. So cloud 9, Ruth, that would make a lot of sense. Happiness is the purpose of life. If we live without happiness, our lives would be dull. That's true, Quesito. Very, very true. We need happiness. Right. Mona's just joined the club. Welcome in, Mona. Earlier, I was looking at some of these quotes, right? Now, some of them are quite interesting. Leo Tolstoy, and I'm sure many of you know Leo Tolstoy, the great Russian writer. He said, right, if you want to be happy, be. Great. If you want to be happy, be. And in fact, somebody on the Facebook page yesterday wrote, happiness is a decision you make, which I thought was so good, right? Happiness is a choice. It's not something that happens to you. It's a decision you make to be happy, right? Which is so true, because when you look at the weather, right? When it rains, so many people say, oh, it's raining. What a horrible day. I don't like it. But you could just as easily say, oh, it's raining. I love the rain. I love the pitter-patter of the rain on the window. And you can go out and get soaking wet, right? It's not the rain that is happy or unhappy. It's your decision. I thought that was brilliant. Whoever wrote that yesterday, thank you very much. It was great. Happiness. There were some other ones here that were really nice. If you're too busy to laugh, you're too busy. Which is the other idea of happiness, right? That happiness is enjoying the little things in life, which was a great expression. There is an expression we say: appreciate the little things in life, smell the flowers. Yeah, smelling the flowers, stopping to smell the flowers, appreciating the little things in life. Absolutely, and quite a few people have talked about that. So true, right? It's not all about the money. The little things like the smell of coffee or that pizza that Elena has promised to buy me, whatever it is, a little book somebody gives you, a smile somebody gives you in the morning, all of these little things, right? That's what happiness is, I think. But it could be a lot more. Where are we? We had some other interesting ones. Happiness comes in waves. It'll find you again, right? Because we're never happy all the time. There is a strong argument that we need to be sad in order to be happy. Because if you are always happy, you wouldn't know you're happy. You only know you're happy because sometimes you're sad. Confusing, but very, very true. So happiness. I'm going to throw some language at you. Other words for happiness. I'm going to throw some language at you. My ex-teacher trainer would turn in his grave. He would be so unhappy. You don't throw language at students, Keith. That's not the way we teach. But I'm going to throw some language at you because I'm on Facebook. Happiness, right? We can also talk about contentment. So to be happy is to be content. Don't confuse that with content. Content is the stuff, the thing, right? Content, stress on the second, content is to be happy or happy, the adjective. I'm content. I'm very content with this class. I'm very happy, right? Contentment is the noun. Joy is the noun. Satisfaction, similar thing, right? And pleasure could be happiness, not quite the same, but they're all related words. Right. So happiness. I'm going to come back to a few things you've written. Saeed says, while some people derive a sense of satisfaction, nice. Satisfaction, that's the word. A sense of satisfaction is really good. I get a sense of satisfaction from money, right? Well, not. I mean, money doesn't bring you happiness, but it helps. So while some people derive a sense of satisfaction from earning money, for others, good level of health and family relationships means happiness, which I've realized I just read before, but never mind. Great. Mona thinks happiness is the ability to overcome obstacles. That's right, which is similar to that learning something new, right? Please write the quotes on the comments, Pachu. Okay, good. Yes. It'll take me a second. If you want to be happy, be. That is Tolstoy. There was one by the Dalai Lama, and I can't remember what it is, but it's about compassion, right? Happiness is compassion. If you are too busy to laugh, you are too busy. There you go. There's a couple for you. Huda thinks happiness is intangible. And Huda, that is a great way to start your answer, right? Because intangible is one of those words that the examiner goes, ooh, that's interesting. Intangible. Not many people know that word. Happiness is intangible. It means you can't touch it, right? It's abstract. How do you put it in a box? You can't. Great way to start an answer. Yeah. Self-satisfaction. That's very, very true. Quesito. That's Xiao Shima Yang in Chinese. I'm going to have to go back and check that. My Chinese characters, I'm so weak. I haven't read in years. Yes, happiness from the little things. Happiness is given to both poor and rich people. The best who take this chance and enjoy it. Yeah, happiness, that's true. It knows no boundaries, right? makes no differentiation between the rich and the poor. Elena, I like pepperoni pizza, just to let you know. Get ready. Happiness required for living life, Sana, absolutely true. Content, content is also a French word. Yeah, content. So Zakia, we stole it from the French. You know what the British are like. We're always stealing things. I'm really sorry for that, but we've stolen that word. Actually, in sociolinguistics, we say we borrowed the word from French. It's a borrowed word, right? Which is so funny. Like we're going to give it back. No, we've borrowed it. It's now we're keeping it. Thank you very much. Content. Good. Happiness is an answer which is given to address our strong desires and needs. Ooh, Temesgen, that's interesting. Happiness is an answer which is given to address our strong desires and needs. Wow. Wow. That is very, very, very good. Wow, good. I'm going to come back to that one and think more. Right, Raj, when you're working with your head chef, you're joyful, as I love to learn various things regarding cooking. Right. You're a man or a woman, I'm assuming, I can't say, but after my own heart. You're a person after my own heart. Do you know that expression? You're a man after my own heart. That doesn't mean there's a relationship between us, but it means that you like the same things I like, or you have the same goals I have, right? You meet somebody who loves cooking, and I love cooking. I say, oh, you're a man after my own heart, or you're a woman after my own heart. It means we like the same things. Yeah, cooking. You know what? I love cooking because it's so therapeutic, which is difficult to pronounce, but great fun to do. Therapeutic just means it's relaxing. So cooking for me, I feel like I'm walking on air. I'm on cloud 9 because I'm learning new things, but I really enjoy cooking. It's so therapeutic, relaxing for me. Madi, is it a decision? Yes, 100%. 100%. It is a decision you make. Seriously. I know you're not going to believe that right now. And you think, there are some cases where you just can't choose. But when you dig deeper, 100% of the time, you can choose what to think and what to feel. And I would say, yes, it is a decision. But that's my own opinion. Happiness is infectious. Yes, it is, right? It's like laughing and snoring and yawning, right? Somebody starts yawning. How many of you suddenly felt, oh, you start yawning as well? It's contagious. And if you laugh, it's like you're at a party and people start laughing. It's contagious. It spreads like wildfire. There you go. It spreads like wildfire, not flower. It's contagious. It's infectious. That's nice, Keen. A really nice word, infectious, and so true. And Huda, you've hit the nail on the head. Another expression, you've hit the nail on the head, which means you're absolutely right. You've hit the nail on the head, means you're right. I think I taught you this one last time. When the outbreak of the coronavirus ends, there'll be a lot of happiness. Absolutely. When things come back to normal. Ruth, it's the attitude. Yes, it is. It's an attitude to life, caring towards other people. Don't take things for granted. Teresa, you're pulling out all the stops. That is a great expression. So don't take things for granted. Don't take people for granted. Don't take things for granted. Okay, great. In the seventh heaven, yes. I'm over the moon when I follow your lessons. They are pills of humanity and the best way to start a dark morning. Wow, Rita. Thank you very much. I'm so happy you say that. Wow. And Sarah, Aristotle emphasized happiness is kind of a people's view. Well, yes, Aristotle was right, I think. Dorothea, you're back. Hello. There is a list called World Happiness Index. Now this is good. The World Happiness Index that ranks different countries according to many aspects of life: health, work, safety, facilities. Right. And isn't it, this is really interesting because traditionally we've taken GDP as a measure of success. And now some countries are changing that, and they're putting I don't know if it's the same as a happiness index, but they're looking at happiness as a part of their GDP, as a part of how successful they are. So that, Dorothea, would be a great thing to talk about in the exam. What is happiness? Well, there is now something called the Happiness Index, which allows us to rank, what did you say? Rank different countries according to many different aspects of their life, including, go and look it up on Google. Google the Happiness Index, and let's see, 2019. Wow, there is literally a list. Where is the happiest country? Where do you think the happiest country in the world is? I bet you it's not Britain. Oh, come on. Seriously, Finland? And I say that because Finland is at the top of every list. It's got the best education system, the best fishing. It's got the best monetary system. Oh, the Finnish, they're so good at everything. And the Danish as well. Finland, Denmark, Switzerland, Iceland, Norway. Well, if you'll notice, they're all countries up in the north of Europe, all at the top of the happiness index. Where's England? 992. No, number 13. That's really interesting. What's more interesting, let's see, what are the criteria? The World Happiness Report. That is so good. I've not looked at this before. It's by the United Nations, so it's a reputable report. Right? What does it say? National happenings based on based on what? I've got to go down. So we include economics, psychology. How do you measure psychology? Survey analysis, so people reporting how they feel. National statistics, I guess, on health and income. Well-being. How do you measure these things? How do you measure happiness? Is it the size of your smile? Is it how long you can laugh? It's interesting, right? Anyway, I won't dwell on that. Go and have a look at that. Dorothea, you have opened a Pandora's box. That is brilliant. Lots of stuff to talk about. My lessons are contagious. It's been for 2 years in a row. Finland, you mean, Ruth? Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because Finland struggles in the north of the country with suicide rates because they go through a lot of dark times. And I mean literally dark as in there's no light. And yet it's at the top of the happiness, right? It's like the yin and the yang, the two things together. Yeah, as Fatmi says, yes. Denmark, yeah. Interesting, right? Very interesting. So let's continue with our happiness by coming back to Ielts. Ielts makes us happy. Of course it does. Here's another little expression for you. I've just found it: to jump for joy. It's a little bit, I jump for joy. It's not old-fashioned. It's probably not as trendy as it used to be, but it's still there. You can still use it. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, how do we know which idioms are the good ones to use? And how do we know that they're not old-fashioned? We shouldn't be using them. For example, my teacher told me raining cats and dogs is old-fashioned and we shouldn't use it in Ielts. It was a very good question. And my approach is the following. Yes, raining cats and dogs is old-fashioned, but there's a way you can find out. Most dictionaries, and if you look at the Collins dictionary, for example, if you put the idiom in the search box in the dictionary, when it describes the idiom, it will tell you if it's old-fashioned or obsolete. And if it says either old-fashioned, I'll just write this down for you, or obsolete, which means no longer used, if that is written next to the idiom, don't use it. So raining cats and dogs, it's old-fashioned. You wouldn't use it, okay? But if you look up, what was the other one somebody said? It cost an arm and a leg. Look up cost an arm and a leg. It's not old-fashioned. It's not obsolete. It doesn't say anything, so you can use it, okay? It's only if it says old-fashioned or obsolete, don't use it, because it's just officially, right? Not to be used or not used in the language. Right, good. So what was I saying? Okay. Let me throw some other questions, because we've talked about what is happiness. Okay. I'll just put all of these in the box, because they're all the same topic, right? What does happiness mean in life? We've talked about. How does money contribute to happiness? Money doesn't make you happy, but it helps. I can't remember who said that, but I thought it was so funny. How does making others happy? Now, making others, right, is all about, we say, making a contribution or putting back into society. So that's a very common thing we talk about now, putting back into society. Right? And excuse me, there's a great example here, not a great example, but an example, personal example. When I was younger, I used to go hitchhiking, right? Hitchhiking, where you stand on the road, put your thumb out, and the car stops and picks you up. And I've hitchhiked all across Europe, and I was hitchhiking in Ireland when somebody picked me up in the car, right? And we were driving along. Well, he stopped the car, I got in, and he took me to his house. Now, Ireland is a small place. It's a very rural kind of country place, countryside. Took me to his house. This is a good story, by the way, not a bad story. You're all thinking, oh no, he took out the dagger, it's going to kill you. No, it's a good story. Took me to his house where his family was, his wife and his little baby daughter. And he said to his wife, give this guy a bit of breakfast. He hasn't eaten all day, with his great Irish accent. Give him some breakfast, right? He hasn't eaten all day. And this was true. It was, I can't remember what time. It was about 12 o'clock midday. I was starving. And he took me to his home and gave me breakfast, egg, bacon and beans. And then as I was walking out the door, he said, listen, take a £10 with you, which roughly means take £10 with you. It wasn't euros in those days. This was before we joined the euro thing, before we had euros. And he gave me £10. And I thought, hang on a minute. No, that's not right. I'm hitchhiking. You're not meant to give me money. And he said, listen, he said, this is just my way of putting back into society. Now that was amazing. And so when I was older, if I had the chance, I would sometimes pick up hitchhikers and take them, not to my house, but take them to wherever they were going. It's just, what do you call that? Karma. It's like paying back. It's like putting back into society. So that's an example, right? Putting back into society, making a contribution. There was another expression I had, volunteering. That's the one, volunteering. Lots of people volunteer. Volunteering is the noun, to volunteer is the verb, and it's a great way of putting back into society, volunteering. And that's what I was thinking about with that question. What makes people happy? We've talked about, excuse me. Does having goals help increase happiness? Now, that's not, Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1. It's not football goals. Having goals in your life, and I suppose achieving the goal, does that make you happy? A few people today have said that, right? Having a goal and a sense of achieving gives a sense of satisfaction, which can also be very, very, very true. So achieving goals. What else? Do you think some people are born happy? Maybe. Elena says seeing her kids well and happy is good. Well, Quesito, that's very good. It doesn't make us happy, but most of us would be unhappy if we didn't have money. Yes, because it would be a real struggle. He was a kind man then, absolutely. Oh, Ahmed, that is a nice expression, right? Write this down, because this is one of those expressions you go, ooh, band 7. Well, not just for the expression, but happiness is a part and parcel of life. Happiness is a part and parcel of life. It just means it's a part of life, but part and parcel of something, it's just a really nice expression. Where did you learn that, Ahmed? That's really nice. I like it. Happiness is a part and parcel of life. Right. Hitchhiking. Yes, you did, Huang. Hitchhiking. Sticking your thumb out. Nowadays, to be honest, people don't hitchhike. I think it's seen as being too dangerous, and it can be quite risky, and I wouldn't recommend it nowadays, actually. But, I'm going back 30 years ago. 30 years ago in Ireland, many places of Europe, it was fairly commonplace. It wasn't unusual. You need to have a bit of common sense, right? But yes, excuse me. Right, donating money, Teresa. That's a good one. Donating money as well. Yes. Money can give you the freedom to do and buy all things you want, whether it's small or a big one. That's right. And you'll notice a lot, not a lot, but some of the rich people are also philanthropists. And that's a nice word, if you can pronounce it. Philanthropist. Philanthropist. A philanthropist is a person who donates money. And a lot of the kind of the world's richest people, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, they are philanthropists, and they donate a lot of their earnings to help other people. So you could argue they earn more and more money in order to give more and more money to others. You could say that. Anyway, philanthropist is a nice word. Philanthropist. Person who donates money to help other people. He does good to help other people. We can buy everything with money, but you can't buy happiness, can you? Again, you can't really buy happiness. Enjoying every present moment. That's right. And that's what Tolstoy was saying, right? Be in the moment, be in the present, enjoy the present moment. Very, very true. And similar to that, so the famous Beatles, do you remember John Lennon, Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, the Beatles, right? You remember they had one of the best definitions of happiness. Let it be. Let it be, let it be. Go back and listen to the song, Let It Be, and you'll understand it's about being in the present moment, just enjoying now. Let it be. Let go. Don't try and control everything. And it's true. Now, I was also going to mention, because we've talked about what happiness is, but also we could talk about what happiness is by avoiding things. So there are certain things we can avoid or not do that bring us happiness. And I was reading about a couple the other day, and I thought this would be nice to talk about because it gives some substance, right? Earlier, we said happiness is intangible. You can't touch it. But if we can have some things we can touch, some substance, right, to talk about. Substance is just stuff, things. If we can talk about things, then, so here are a couple of things, right? Being happy is avoiding, so these are things to avoid, avoiding FOMO. Now, some of you will know FOMO, most of you will know FOMO, but maybe not everybody. Somebody tell me what FOMO is. Participation. It just gives me a chance to have a cup of water. Oh, happiness is a cup of water. Let it be should have been, not let it be. Can I change that? Can I edit it? edit. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Mary came to me. Let it be. Oh, no, you hit the nail on the head. Don't regret the past. Don't think about the future. Just be in the present. Nice. Ruth, yeah, we call it mindfulness nowadays. Meditation, mindfulness. It's all about being in the moment, which makes sense, actually, when you think about it, because tomorrow doesn't really exist, right? Yesterday's already gone, so it's a waste of time. So the only time you can be happy is now. So you might as well be happy now. Right. Dorothea is talking about the happiness index and the presentation on TED. If somebody finds the link, come and share it with us. That sounds interesting. Yeah, Yen, you're right. Avoiding toxic people. Not exactly. What is FOMO? Right, we've got it. Shenchen Yu has it and Yen has it. Fear of missing out. F, fear, O, of M, missing, O, out. FOMO, fear of missing out. This is typically used a lot nowadays with this little thing, right? So your mobile phone can bring you happiness, but it can bring you unhappiness, discontent. Why? Because fear of missing out is a feeling. You know, when you look at your Facebook feed and you see a photo of your friends on holiday and they're drinking a beer and they've got a photo of the food and they're all happy, and you think, oh, I wish I was on holiday, you know, and everybody else's life is better, and you think you're missing out, that you're missing that opportunity. You think everybody else is having a beautiful life because it says so in the photo. Right? So we have a fear of missing out. And what does that do? That fear makes you feel unhappy because they're on holiday, they're enjoying a nice dinner, and I'm stuck here doing my work at home, right? Fear of missing out. So that's the problem, is that if you follow that feeling, you'll be very unhappy. So if we can avoid FOMO, then we'll be happy. If you can avoid comparing and thinking the grass is always greener, nice expression, feeling that everyone else's life is better, everybody else is better, then you'll be happy, right? The grass is always greener. It's a great expression. The grass is always greener. The actual expression is the grass is always greener on the other side. But we often just say, you know, we think that the grass is always greener, that everybody else is having a better life. Of everyone else, I'll try and write this down, is having a better life. You think, of course you think, but of course it's not true, right? Of course it's not true. But the nature of the photo on the internet gives you the idea that you're missing out, the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. If you've not heard about it, read about it. Go and put it in your search engine, Google. Find out a bit about FOMO. And it's all about comparing. When you compare yourself to others, you know, like you see your neighbor and your neighbor has a BMW and you think, oh, and you've got a bicycle and you think, oh, they're really happy. They've got the car, they're happy. That comparison just makes you unhappy, right? If you didn't compare, when you said, oh, I love my bicycle, I get healthy, I do exercise, I get all the fresh air, I'm not stuck in the traffic jam, I'm really happy. What a great thing to have, a bicycle. Then you're happy. It's only when you stop and go, BMW, they're obviously happier than me. No, they're not. So that's it, fear of missing out. So avoid FOMO. Avoid comparisons is the same thing, right? Avoid comparisons. It's like before, right? We thought Oh, Finland, everybody's so happy. They're at the top of the happiness index. Oh, I wish I was in Finland. No, you don't. Don't compare, avoid comparisons, and you'll be a lot happier. Ruth has got a nice expression. Keeping up with the Joneses. That's right. My neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So every other family in England is called Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So all of the neighbors are called the Joneses, right? So it's not true, but keeping up with the Joneses is keeping up with the neighbors. So if they have a BMW, I have to have a BMW. If they put some nice flowers in the garden, I have to put some nice flowers in my garden, so that I'm always as happy as they are not. The light is always brighter. Madi, that's exactly it. It's exactly the same thing. Yes. Great. The other thing to avoid that I read about, so FOMOs you can talk about, right? You can, this one is so true. It's very hard to do, right? Avoid complaining. So being happy is avoiding complaining. It's the hardest thing to do in the world. I challenge you to spend a day without complaining about anything. It's really hard, right? Oh, the bus is late. Oh, it's raining again. I'm going to be late. Why didn't they do that? We complain all the time, but it makes us unhappy. So avoid complaining. Those are my 3 things to avoid. Avoid FOMOs, avoid comparing, avoid complaining. That makes us happy, apparently. Go and try it out. Let me know if it's true. That's what they say. But the main thing is, these are interesting things to talk about in your answers, right? In IELTS. Brilliant. And there's always money, right? There's always the topic of money that can, yes, that can, nice kidding. Yes, Akmal. Huda, I feel a pang of regret that I can't improve myself in IELTS speaking. Now, avoid comparisons, because what you do, you go on Facebook and you see blah, 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 Mr. Who says, I just got an 8 in IELTS speaking. And you think, oh, great, I'm really happy for you, but why are they much better than me? Why are they better? That everybody's better than me. And suddenly you feel unhappy. Avoid comparisons and you will be a lot happier. It's true. Of course, you can strive and work and study to improve. And that improving, right, reaching your goal, can also bring happiness, as somebody mentioned earlier. Right, Yen asked, what an adjective for a person always complain? No, an adjective, not a noun, an adjective. A complaining person. I don't know if there is an adjective. I'll give you a noun, right? A moaner. Not Mona as in, I know we've got a Mona in the class, not M-O-N-A, sorry Mona, but Mona as in M-O-A-N-E-R, from the verb to moan, which is to complain, right? And Mona's now going, I'm not a Mona. Moan is to complain, so a Mona, a complainer, yeah, somebody who is just a pain in the arse if they complain all the time. They are, don't complain. Can't think of an adjective yet. Right, so guys, I'm going to finish up with, did I have another? Oh yes, I'm going to share this that actually I stumbled across this the other day. There's a nice expression, right? I stumbled across this. I stumbled across this, which means I came across, which means I found by accident, found by chance or accident. So I stumbled across this website the other day. It's all about 14 things that are proven to make you happy. 14 things that will make you happy. I already know 14 things that will make me happy, as you do, but I'll share it with you, and maybe after the class you can go and have a look. Things to make you happy. Right, good. Wow, this has been a very long and happy session. I've never seen so much happiness. I've never seen so many like little thumbs and hearts coming up. It's great. Everybody's obviously very, very happy. Happiness is contagious, right? Absolutely. So, Lali, this might be our last question. Could I make a better impression with being serious or being informal on the speaking test? It's a hard question, Lala, because every examiner is different, right? Some examiners are serious people. Some examiners are happy, informal people. It's all about building rapport. Do you know building rapport, right? When you build rapport is, gosh, this is going to take me a long time, but to build rapport is building your relationship. So to get on the same wavelength as your examiner, you can be similar to your examiner, okay? Get on the same wavelength. So if your examiner, you can see, is a person who's smiling and happy to see you, then do the same. Mimic them, right? If you see your examiner like, oh, hello, come in, then you can go, oh, hello, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, because you'll be on the same wavelength and you'll build a rapport and build a relationship. This is basic interviewing skills, right? That's the good way to make an impression. If your examiner is very serious, come in, sit down, yes, what's your name? Then you can also do the same. Hello, my name is Keith, right? Because you'll be on the same wavelength, right? You can relax, you can be informal, but in the first minute, if you mimic the examiner, you're going to build a better relationship. And that's really kind of, even for job interviews, that's a basic skill of job interviews, is mimicking to build rapport, right? So yes, it depends on your examiner. I mean, personally, I think being informal and smiling is gonna help, generally speaking. But if you have a really, really grumpy examiner who's always complaining, then if you're really happy, he's not gonna like you, or she's not gonna like you. So it's just being a bit similar, I guess. Right then. Love the session. Ruth, me too. It's one of the happiest sessions we've had. Of course. Yes. Right. Sweet dreams, everybody. Raj is going to bed. Ahmed, tell me any site to do an IELTS free like a practice. Oh, yes, I can, Ahmed. Yes, I can. There is a site. Oh, it's not free. Sorry, a free site. No, it's a paid for site. You have to pay for it. They do mock tests, and I can't remember the name, but I saw it the other day. Mock IELTS tests. I'll have a look for it and try and find it for you, but it's not free. Nice. Brilliant. Joy, thank you very much for joining us. That's great. And Kate too. So we're going to finish up. Thanks, guys. Yeah, you see, Huang, that's it. Sometimes some examiners are very, very serious. Thanks a lot, guys. It's been a pleasure being here. That's a complete hour. That's great. Just on time. Take care, all of you. I know with the virus, a lot of us are locked down. Look after yourselves. Look after your family. Wash your hands and be happy. Go and have some pizza or whatever it is that makes you happy. Enjoy those little things in life that make us happy. There's lots of them, right, around our houses. I'll see you on Thursday. Same time, same place. Be there or be square. Take care. Bye-bye now.